Ladies and gentlemen, there is a war going on, but it's not in the streets. It's in your mind. Every day, thoughts are knocking on the door of your heart. Some come to build you, others come to break you. And if you don't know how to guard your mind, you will live in a prison built by your own thoughts. The greatest battlefield is not out there, it is between your ears. Your mind is a garden. Every day you are planting something. The question is, what kind of seeds are you sowing? Negative thoughts are like weeds. They don't need permission to grow, they show up uninvited. But here's the truth. Weeds only thrive in untended soil. So, if you want to remove negative thoughts, you've got to become a gardener of your own mind. Somebody say, it's time to weed my garden. You see, you can't stop the birds from flying overhead, but you can stop them from building a nest. Negative thoughts will come. You're human. But you don't have to entertain every thought that knocks. Not every thought deserves your attention. Some thoughts are just passers-by. Don't give them a place to sleep. So how do we deal with these thoughts? You don't change your life by changing your situation. You change your life by changing your mind. Renewal is not a Sunday event. It's a daily discipline. Wake up every morning and choose what will dominate your thinking. Choose truth. Choose purpose. Choose vision. Words create worlds. What you say consistently, you start to believe, and what you believe, you begin to manifest. If you walk around saying, I'm not good enough, your mind will find evidence to prove you right. But if you speak truth, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, I have a purpose, I was born for impact, your mind will align with that declaration. You are not what happened to you. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are what you were created to be. And when you understand your identity, you become immune to internal sabotage. Purpose protects the mind from pollution. When you have a clear vision, negativity has no oxygen. You're too focused on where you're going to be dragged down by where you've been. You cannot swim with sharks and expect not to bleed. Some environments feed your faith. Others feed your fear. Some people fuel your vision. Others fuel your doubts. Audit your surroundings. Curate your atmosphere. Your mind becomes what it's exposed to. Gratitude is not just being polite. It's a weapon of war. A thankful heart cannot host toxic thoughts. When you start thanking instead of complaining, praising instead of panicking, something powerful shifts. You kick negativity out by inviting gratitude in. Family, removing negative thoughts is not about pretending they don't exist. It's about replacing them with truth. It's about standing up in the courtroom of your own mind and defending your destiny against every lie. So today I challenge you, take back your mind, protect your peace, plant good seeds, speak life, walk in purpose, and never ever let a negative thought decide your future. Your mind is the birthplace of your destiny. Treat it like sacred ground. Your mind is a garden. And like any garden, it doesn't just produce fruit on its own. It produces what you plant in it and what you allow to stay in it. Thoughts are seeds. Every single thought that enters your mind has the potential to take root, to grow, and to shape the atmosphere of your life. If you plant negativity, you will grow discouragement. If you sow doubt, you will reap fear. But if you plant truth, peace, faith, and purpose, you'll begin to harvest clarity, confidence, and direction. Now, here's the part many people miss. Gardens don't stay clean on their own. Weeds don't need an invitation. You don't have to plant them. They show up without asking. That's what negative thoughts are like. They sneak in quietly, one by one. A moment of fear here, a whisper of insecurity there, a little bitterness tucked in the corner. Left unattended, they spread, they take over. And before you know it, your garden is choked with things that were never meant to grow. That's why you have to be intentional. You have to tend to your mind the way a gardener tends the soil, daily, carefully, and deliberately. You need to check what's growing, examine what's been planted, and most of all, pull out what doesn't belong. If a thought doesn't align with truth, with purpose, with growth, uproot it. If it's not feeding your future, it's sabotaging it. What's powerful about this is that you are not a prisoner of your thoughts. You are the gardener. You get to decide what stays and what goes. You get to choose what gets watered. You get to design the atmosphere of your inner life. When you treat your mind like a garden, you stop tolerating mental clutter. You stop letting fear set up camp. You don't allow bitterness to bloom. Instead, you start planting things that build you. You start cultivating a mindset of strength, of clarity, of purpose. And over time, just like any good garden, what you've nurtured will start to show. Your life will begin to reflect what you've been planting in private. So the real question is this: what kind of garden is your mind right now? And what are you going to plant next? Purpose cancels negativity because it gives your pain a direction, your struggle a reason, and your mind a focus. When you understand the reason you were born, you stop letting every setback, every insult, every disappointment define you. You start interpreting everything through the lens of purpose. You're not just going through life, you're growing through life. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, how is this shaping me for where I'm going? Negativity thrives in the absence of purpose. When people don't know who they are or why they're here, their minds become open fields for every kind of toxic thought. Fear settles in, insecurity grows roots, doubt becomes normal. Because when the destination is unclear, every detour feels like a dead end. But when you have a sense of divine assignment, those same detours become part of the design. Purpose gives pain permission to become process. It takes your losses and gives them language. It takes your confusion and gives it clarity. Even when things don't make sense, purpose tells you, keep moving. This is not where it ends. And when your mind is full of purpose, it doesn't have room for despair. You can't be obsessed with destiny and still be weighed down by defeat. The two can't coexist. See, negativity feeds on uncertainty. It multiplies in the fog of confusion. But purpose brings light. It reveals the path. And once the light is on, darkness has no power. That's what purpose does to your thoughts. It shines clarity into places that were once ruled by fear. When you wake up every day knowing who you are and why you're breathing, it changes how you respond to everything. Criticism doesn't crush you because you focus on your mission. Rejection doesn't break you because you know your worth isn't up for debate. Delay doesn't discourage you because you understand that timing is a tool, not a punishment. That kind of mindset isn't just powerful, it's unstoppable. Purpose isn't just motivation, it's mental warfare. It's how you fight back when your mind is under attack. And the more deeply you're rooted in it, the quieter the voices of negativity become. Because once you realize you're here on assignment, you stop letting small thoughts distract you from a big destiny. You can't stop birds from flying overhead, but you can stop them from nesting. That's how thoughts work, especially negative ones. They come, they pass through, you hear them, you feel them, and that's normal. You're human. You're going to face fear, insecurity, doubt, and frustration. Those mental birds will fly over your head, sometimes out of nowhere, sometimes more than once. But just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it has to live there. You don't have to entertain everything that knocks. Not every thought deserves a seat at your table. Some thoughts come to test your gatekeeping. Are you awake? Are you guarding your peace? Are you present enough to recognize when a lie is disguising itself as a reflection? Because that's what most negative thoughts are. They're not truth. They're just noise dressed up in emotion. The danger isn't the passing thought. The danger is letting that thought build a home in your mind. It starts small. A quick worry, a tiny offense, a flash of jealousy. And if you don't challenge it, it settles in. It starts rearranging the furniture of your perspective. Before you know it, you're not just thinking the thought. You're living under its influence. You begin to speak from it, act from it, make decisions through it. That's nesting. Stopping the nest means interrupting the process early. It means being aware of what you're allowing to take root. You might not control the initial idea, but you do control your response. Do you dwell on it? Do you repeat it? Do you feed it? Or do you confront it, replace it, evict it? You have to become the security guard of your own mind. Just like you wouldn't let a stranger walk into your house and saddle in your living room, you shouldn't let every thought stroll into your consciousness and make itself comfortable. Ask that thought, who sent you? What are you trying to build here? Are you helping me or hurting me? If it doesn't serve your peace, your growth, or your purpose, it doesn't belong. The thoughts will come, the birds will fly, but you get to decide what stays. You have the authority to protect your mental space. And the more you practice this awareness, the more peace you create, and the less power those thoughts will have. They may fly by, but they won't find a place to land. Feed your faith, starve your doubts. Not just a phrase, it's a principle. What you feed will grow, and what you neglect will weaken. Faith and doubt both live in the same space, but only one can lead. They're both waiting at your door each morning, but it's your decision which one you'll invite in and serve a meal to. Faith is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about believing there's purpose even in what you can't yet see. Doubt, on the other hand, thrives in the absence of direction. It multiplies when left unchecked. It finds strength in the silence of inaction. When you don't actively feed your faith, doubt will take over by default. It doesn't need permission, it just needs neglect. You feed your faith by what you listen to, what you read, what you say, and who you surround yourself with. Every word of encouragement, every truth you declare, every step you take in trust, even when you're afraid, is a meal for your faith. It grows stronger every time you choose belief over fear. But if all you do is replay your fears, speak your insecurities, and dwell on what could go wrong, you're not starving your doubt, you're nurturing it. Faith doesn't grow in comfort zones. It grows in tension, in the waiting, in the moments when you choose to stand firm, even though your circumstances haven't changed. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it strengthens with use. Every time you choose to trust instead of panic, you're training yourself for the next battle. And here's what's powerful. Doubt loses its grip when it's not being fed. If you stop rehearsing the worst case scenario, stop agreeing with every fearful thought, stop giving voice to your insecurities, doubt begins to wither. It gets quieter. It loses its influence. Because faith doesn't need to shout, it just needs room to speak. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing what reality you will align with. The one driven by fear or the one shaped by purpose and truth. Every single day you are making deposits. You're either investing in your belief or your fear. And when the pressure hits, what you've been feeding will show. So feed your faith, feed it with vision, feed it with truth, feed it with purpose. Starve your doubt until it no longer has the strength to speak up. Because in the end, the voice you've nourished the most is the one that will lead your life. Words shape reality. What you speak consistently begins to form the atmosphere you live in. Words are not just sounds. They are containers of power. They carry belief, they carry identity, and they carry direction. When you open your mouth, you are not just expressing what's in your mind, you are giving it permission to shape your world. You are either reinforcing faith or reinforcing fear. What you say about yourself, your life, your situation, it matters more than most people realize. Because your words don't just describe reality, they often define it. Speak defeat long enough, and eventually your actions follow your language. Say you're not good enough times, and your decisions will reflect that belief. Say nothing good ever happens to you, and your mind will start filtering out anything that contradicts that narrative. This is why it's so critical to speak with intention. You may not be able to control every thought that comes, but you absolutely control the words that come out of your mouth. Your language is your agreement. When you speak, you're either aligning with truth or with a lie, with purpose or with confusion, with fear or with faith. And whichever one you agree with, you give life to. Words have the power to build or destroy. One sentence can bring healing. Another can crush confidence. But perhaps the most dangerous words are the subtle ones you say to yourself when no one's listening. That quiet inner dialogue becomes the script for your life. The question is, what story are you telling? If you want to shift your mindset, you have to shift your mouth. Declare what you want to see, not just what you feel in the moment. Speak life even when you feel tired. Speak vision even when you don't yet see the outcome. Words are like seeds. They don't produce fruit overnight, but they're always planting something. And what you continue to say will eventually grow into the life you walk in. Your voice is one of your greatest tools. Use it wisely, use it intentionally, use it to call forth what you believe, not just react to what you fear. Because if you want to change your reality, you don't start with your surroundings, you start with your words. Mind renewal is a daily discipline. It's not a one-time event or something you do only when life feels overwhelming. It's a lifestyle. Just like your body needs food every day to stay strong, your mind needs truth every day to stay clear. You can renew your mind once a week and expect strength for a battle you face every morning. The world throws too much at you. Pressure, distractions, opinions, fears, for you to live on yesterday's clarity. Renewing your mind means deliberately choosing what to focus on, what to let go of, and what to believe over and over again. It's waking up and deciding, I will not let my thoughts drift wherever they want. I will direct them. I will discipline them. I will shape them according to truth, not trauma. According to vision, not circumstance. This is a fight, not a feeling. You don't always wake up motivated. You don't always feel like being strong. That's why it's discipline. It's what you choose to do, even when it's not easy, even when your emotions are loud, even when your situation hasn't shifted yet. Renewal happens in the quiet repetition. In the moment you reject the lie and replace it with truth, not once, but every time it shows up. And the truth is, the mind left unattended will always drift toward negativity, fear, doubt, and confusion. That's the default. But you weren't made to live in default mode. You were created to be intentional, focused, and clear. You were given the power to think on purpose. And every time you do, every time you catch that negative spiral and redirect it, you are rewiring your brain, reprogramming your thoughts, and realigning your life. This is why so many people feel stuck, not because they lack opportunity, but because they've let their minds be shaped by things that were never meant to lead them. But when you commit to the discipline of renewing your mind, you take that power back. You stop being reactive and you start becoming intentional. You stop living from old patterns and start walking in new perspectives. Discipline means showing up daily even when it doesn't feel like anything's changing, but over time it does. Slowly, consistently, the way you think begins to align with who you really are. And when your thinking changes, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your life follows. Mind renewal isn't a quick fix. It's a long game. But it's the kind of discipline that transforms not just how you think, but how you live. You are not what you feel, you are what you believe. Feelings are real, but they are not always right. They can be loud, overwhelming, and convincing, but they are temporary. They shift with circumstances, moods, and moments. 1 minute you feel confident, the next you feel afraid. One day you're on top of the world, the next you're questioning everything. That's the nature of emotion. It fluctuates. But belief is different. Belief is deeper. It's rooted. It holds steady even when feelings shake. If you let feelings define you, you live on a roller coaster. Up one day, down the next. Never truly grounded. But when belief defines you, you become stable, consistent, and anchored. You might feel afraid, but you believe you're courageous. You might feel unworthy, but you believe you have value. You might feel like giving up, but you believe there's still purpose in your fight. That belief becomes the compass, not your emotion. The problem for many people is that they mistake a moment for their identity. They feel insecure and say, I'm not enough. They feel anxious and say, I'm falling apart. But feeling something doesn't make it truth. Just because a storm is happening doesn't mean the foundation is broken. You can feel chaos and still stand on something solid if that solid thing is what you believe, not just what you feel. Belief is what fuels your choices, not feelings. Because if you only move when you feel strong, you'll stay stuck. But if you move based on belief, belief in your calling, your value, your purpose, you'll keep going even when your emotions don't match. That's when growth happens. That's when discipline kicks in. That's when breakthrough starts to build. You have to train yourself to speak belief even when you don't feel it. To declare truth even when your emotions are arguing against it. Feelings will follow what you feed them. So when you align your words, actions, and decisions with what you believe, not what you temporarily feel, you begin to reshape your entire mindset. You're not your fear, your failure, your sadness, or your doubt. Those are passing clouds. What defines you is the core truth you hold on to in the middle of all that. And the stronger that belief becomes, the more your emotions begin to submit to your truth instead of trying to rewrite it. So hold fast to what you believe, especially when your feelings try to tell you something different, because belief will carry you when emotion can't. Environment matters. The atmosphere you place yourself in, the voices you allow around you, the energy you absorb, it all shapes how you think, how you feel, and ultimately how you live. You can have all the right intentions, all the right dreams, and even the right mindset, but if you plant yourself in the wrong environment, your growth will always be limited. Just like a seed full of potential won't thrive in toxic soil, your purpose can't flourish in a space that drains you. People often underestimate the silent influence of their surroundings. Not everything that's familiar is healthy. Some environments normalize fear, breed negativity, celebrate distraction, and keep you in survival mode. You could be doing all the inner work, renewing your mind, guarding your thoughts, feeding your faith, but if you keep returning to an atmosphere that contradicts everything you're building, it slowly unravels your progress. Sometimes it's not that you're weak, it's that you're constantly fighting against the noise around you. Growth becomes a struggle, not because you're incapable, but because your environment is out of alignment with your values. It's not just about avoiding what's toxic. It's about choosing what's life-giving. Places and people that speak to your future, that challenge your complacency, that call you higher instead of keeping you small. You have to protect your space like your future depends on it, because it does. What you hear consistently becomes what you believe. What you're exposed to daily becomes what you accept as normal, and over time your environment shapes your identity. If you want to think clearer, dream bigger, and walk stronger, you have to create an atmosphere that supports that version of you. Not just the version you're trying to leave behind. Changing your environment isn't always about relocation. Sometimes it's about boundaries. Sometimes it's about changing what you allow to influence you. The music you listen to, the conversations you tolerate, the habits you build your day around, every detail of your environment is either feeding your future or stalling it. You don't rise above your environment, you grow within it. So make sure where you are aligns with who you are becoming, because the right environment doesn't just support your vision, it helps you carry it further than you ever thought possible. Gratitude is a weapon against negativity. It's not just a feel-good habit, it's a force that shifts perspective, repositions your mindset, and disarms the power of negative thoughts. When life throws challenges at you, when disappointment feels like it's weighing you down, gratitude doesn't just help you endure, it empowers you to rise. It's an act of defiance against the constant pull of negativity. When your mind tries to wander into fear, doubt, or frustration, gratitude pulls it back to the present, reminding you of the good that still exists. You see, negativity thrives in the absence of appreciation. It grows when we focus on what's wrong, what's missing, or what we don't have. It feeds on our dissatisfaction, our complaints, our worries. But when you choose gratitude, you shift the focus. You stop counting what's wrong and start counting what's right. You shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. In that moment, negativity loses its power, because gratitude cannot coexist with complaining or self-pity. It forces you to take notice of what's going well, no matter how small, and brings your attention back to the present. The beauty of gratitude is that it's not dependent on external circumstances. It's an internal choice. You can choose gratitude even when things aren't perfect. In fact, it's in the hardest times that gratitude becomes most powerful. It's the anchor that keeps you grounded when storms hit. You may not be able to control everything that happens, but you can control your response. Gratitude doesn't ask you to deny pain or pretend everything is easy. It invites you to look beyond the difficulty and recognize the blessings hidden within. When you practice gratitude, you change your brain chemistry. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already present. It trains you to see possibility instead of problems, opportunities instead of obstacles. And in doing so, you begin to attract more of what you focus on. Gratitude is magnetic. It draws in more reasons to be thankful, more reasons to celebrate, more reasons to keep moving forward. And here's the powerful part. The more you practice gratitude, the more resilient you become. Negative thoughts still come, but they don't dominate your mind. You learn to push them aside because you've built a mental habit of choosing thankfulness. That doesn't mean negativity won't try to knock on your door. It will. But every time it does, gratitude is the shield you raise. It's the force field that protects your peace and stops negativity from taking root. Gratitude is a choice. It's a tool that you can wield, and the more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. It's a weapon that can shift the atmosphere of your life, break the chains of negativity, and open your eyes to a world full of possibility. It doesn't matter what's happening around you. When you choose gratitude, you choose to fight for a mindset that rises above the noise. And that in itself is victory. Vision pulls you higher because it offers a glimpse of something greater than where you are right now. It's a picture of what's possible, what could be, and what you were created for. Vision isn't just a desire for change. It's a powerful force that propels you forward. When you have a clear vision, it acts like a magnetic force, drawing you toward your future, urging you to stretch, grow, and evolve beyond your current limitation. Without vision, it's easy to get stuck in the routine of life, to be content with where you are, even if it's not where you're supposed to be. But vision disrupts that comfort. It challenges you to think beyond the present moment and take steps toward a bigger, more meaningful future. It sparks your passion and ignites your potential. It gives you a reason to keep going, even when obstacles arise. Vision doesn't just keep you moving, it keeps you moving with purpose. Vision pulls you higher because it demands growth. It requires you to break free from the confines of your current thinking and embrace a mindset of possibility. It forces you to expand your capacity to see the potential in yourself that you may not yet have fully recognized. The bigger your vision, the bigger your actions will become. You won't settle for mediocrity because your vision demands excellence. You'll be willing to take risks, face fears, and go beyond what's comfortable. Your vision makes you unwilling to stay in a place that no longer serves your growth. When you have a vision, you begin to make decisions based on where you're going, not where you are. Your choices align with your purpose, and your actions are no longer random or reactive. They are intentional. Vision sharpens your focus. It allows you to see beyond distractions and setbacks. It creates clarity when confusion would otherwise reign. And because vision is future-focused, it helps you rise above the present challenges and see them as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Vision also pulls you higher because it connects you to something greater than yourself. It gives you a sense of responsibility to not just pursue your own dreams, but to contribute to the world around you. When you're chasing a vision that's aligned with purpose, it stops being about you and becomes about what you're meant to offer to others. That shift in focus elevates you, transforming your journey from one of mere survival to one of impact. Vision pulls you higher because it elevates your thinking, your choices, and your sense of possibility. It lifts you out of the ordinary and into the extraordinary. When you have a vision, you don't just live life, you live it with intention. You chase after something meaningful, and in doing so, you grow into the person capable of achieving it. Vision isn't just a dream, it's a force that pulls you into your future, lifting you higher with every step you take toward it. Remember this, Your vision is the key to unlocking the extraordinary within you. It is the force that pulls you higher, even when the world tries to keep you grounded. Your vision is not just a dream, it is a blueprint for your future. A calling to step beyond what is comfortable, to rise above your limitations, and to reach for something greater. Every challenge you face, every setback you encounter is simply a test of your commitment to your vision. So, don't let the distractions of today cloud the possibilities of tomorrow. Let your vision pull you forward. Let it shape your actions, your mindset, and your journey. The higher you aim, the higher you will rise. And as you pursue your vision, not only will you achieve great things for yourself, but you will also inspire others to do the same. You are not bound by where you are now. You are defined by the vision you hold and the steps you take toward it. Stay focused, stay relentless, and let your vision be the force that pulls you higher, guiding you toward the life you were always meant to live.